Hey, everyone, I'm back. Andrew, this is Dr. Andrew Kennard, Andrew Hall. Yeah, so, hello. I'm alone in the after party after show. We have a policy here on this channel that if no one joins me within 10 minutes, I close up the show and I just go about my business for the rest of the day. What am I doing for the rest of the day? Good question. I'm probably going to be writing another piece, a comedy piece, because I am a comedy writer. I'm probably going to be organizing, do some more organization for Only Sky. For those of you who don't know what Only Sky is, it is soon to be the world's largest secular site, secular, progressive, humanist kind of site. Why do I make such a bold assertion? Because the people, the writers, the content creators who are coming onto Only Sky are from Patheos non-religious channel. And Patheos non-religious channel was the world's largest secular site. And so we have moved from Patheos non-religious over to Only Sky. Only Sky, the site isn't live yet. It'll be live pretty soon. It'll be live, I think January 4th is the official day. And then it'll be nothing but fun. I'll be producing high quality comedy content. Right now, I'm just kind of cooling my heels, writing occasionally on my Medium account. What's up, D Parks? Did you like the cat this morning? Biscuit never likes being in front of the camera. She is quite camera shy, but she was making so many meows and she was close. And so maybe my cat is beginning to warm up to the camera. I don't know, everyone. What's up, Blazing Wizard Pope? And Theo. And Jesse Bear. How are you feeling this morning, Jesse Bear? I hope you're feeling okay. Hey, Jesse Bear's here. Now then, Jesse Bear, I can see you have your camera on. You don't have an avatar. So I'm going to put you on, Jesse. I'm just going to keep Jesse up there. I'm going to do this and wait until I get the thumbs up sign from Jesse, because Jesse may not be ready to actually join us, or maybe she is. I don't know. There's a lot of technical difficulties. Here's the thing about live shows, everyone, is that it's a live show. You don't know what's really going to happen. Just like with the cat during the first show, you don't know what's going to happen. Nothing but red. I like the background. It's very Christmassy without the green. Biscuit is a star. When you look at the video she's been on this channel, by far, people are more willing to look at the cat videos than hang out with me, right? Or just look at me. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather hang out with my cat than hang out with me too. Is that some kind of problem? I think that might be some kind of psychological issue I should talk to my therapist about. What's up, John Hudson?
Good morning.
It is so far so good. It's been a good morning for me. Yeah. How's Texas?
It's been good weather. It's supposed to be 85 on Christmas.
85? 85.
Yeah.
It was I think it's in the 20s. I think it's in the 20s up here in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Dude.
Yeah, good. Gonna go down to Barton Springs and do a little swimming on Christmas.
Damn you and your nice temperatures.
Looking to get a boat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to water ski on New Year's.
Dude, yeah. Sorry about the tech issues. So, Jesse Bear, we all have tech issues or just issues in general that we're wrestling with. So I understand.
Well, looks like I'm having camera issues.
Yeah, dude. But the green kind of really, it does something. It gives you that kind of, well, you could say it's Christmassy, maybe, because you got that green vibe going on.
Yeah, it's Christmas is pretty exciting with the grandkids,
Yeah.
It just to see their excitement and such, it makes it for me.
Well, that's good. That's good, dude. My kids are at a point that they're teenagers, and so um, I don't have to put on as much of an effort for Christmas because they're not. You know what happens when the kids are young? You gotta put on the show. You got to put on the whole show, right?
Absolutely.
The Christmas magic. They're teenagers. They're like, nah, you don't have to put on. There's not a whole lot of effort I have to put in now, and I'm happy about that.
I had one Christmas was well, actually, right after I got busted for growing pot. But anyhow, I had a client that was fucking holding out money, and finally paid me on Christmas Eve.
Oh, sweet.
But I hadn't bought a gift for Phoenix at all.
Mm.
And being last minute, I just took and we did a treasure hunt, and I put money around the house, and
Oh, nice.
if wanting more money is what you desire, don't look in the washer, but look in the
Oh,
and then there would be another little poem that if you want more money, you don't need to go far. Don't go to the kitchen, but look in the bar.
nice.
And so she had, and she still brings that up every year. That was her favorite Christmas of all time.
Pretty sweet. How you doing, Jesse Bear?
Oh, good. Sorry about that before.
That's okay. You can't help that. It's technical issues.
I
Look, you brought a
love
cat too.
I love
Yeah.
your avatar.
Oh, thank you. It's just a Bitmoji thing.
It's so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how you feeling, Jesse?
Steroids are done, so not so great again. My cough is back,
Not sure.
but better than when I was actively sick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm not contagious anymore, but my lungs still are not happy.
Yeah.
How's that celiac?
I'm still waiting. I actually I'll have to cut out early. I have a doctor's appointment. Hopefully they'll schedule to see if I can get tested for that soonish.
Right. Well, just to update everyone, yes, I did get a COVID test yesterday. During the after show yesterday, my doctor's office called, and I had a little meltdown. I think I had a little meltdown actually yesterday. I don't have a lot of meltdowns on this channel, but I think I had a little meltdown about not being able to get a proper COVID-19 test. But I got a phone call at 2 p.m. yesterday saying we just got them in, and if you get here by 3:30, we can get you a test. And I said, all right. I got in my car and just drove right over there by 2:30. It was all done. So
Nice.
I'm not unhappy about that. That was a big win for yesterday.
Well, Phoenix bought like 12 of the home test kits about a month ago. When we thought we had it, and I'm like, why fucking 12? She goes, I just don't want to run out of anything, because we do live out in the sticks, and going into town is a pain in the ass. And she's like, I just want to be sure if we have any symptoms at all, I want us to test to where we can just be away from each other.
Yeah. It's a wise choice that she made, because what you don't want to do is what I had to do on last Saturday, is drive around the city trying to find at-home COVID tests.
Yeah, I mean, if you are positive at that point, you're sharing in it. It's I just thought it was kind of weird that she'd done that, but then she always does things that I don't understand, but in retrospect, she's a smart girl,
It's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared.
I agree with that.
And how many people are on the property? I mean, 12. I mean, how many of there are you? That doesn't seem like an outrageous number. There's at least like what?
Well, there's
4 of you?
There's 5 of us with the new baby.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't seem like an outrageous number. That's like 2 per person and 2 extras.
Yeah. Well,
I think that. Go ahead.
The toilet paper thing, when it all went down, we do Costco, And I bet you there's fucking 5 cases of toilet paper downstairs, just because. I mean, we went to Costco last week and it was like $800.
So the girlfriend is in the chat. Hey, the girlfriend. A lot of people were asking for you for a show about how you were doing. I said that you were tolerating me quite well.
I'm all about the hot buttered rums when I'm feeling down.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to be sick. I just feeling down. Hot buttered rum.
Nothing wrong. Oh man, hot buttered rum is pretty sweet. D Park says my brother-in-law was released from hospital. He had pneumonia from his staph infection. Wow.
Oof.
I just want to put it out there too. Nick's aunt, the COVID denier. She doesn't deny COVID anymore. She died.
No. Oh, hey.
Oh my gosh.
Who is this, John?
My son-in-law's aunt.
Oh, geez, man, that's hard.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Play stupid fucking games.
I don't think I know anyone. I know a bunch of people who have had COVID, of course. And at the old job I had when I was working at a residential home for people with disabilities, there were people within that network, people with disabilities early on in the pandemic who died. But personally, I don't think anyone within my family or my close friends, definitely not with my close friends or family, no one that I know of has died from COVID.
I got it in March of 2020 when it wasn't even supposed to be in this country.
Yeah, dude.
There was no cases. And this fucking long haul shit, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good for a couple hours and then I'm fried. I need to go lay down for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And that's not like me. It's not like me at all.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a doctor for it or anything. Just been trying to stay away from fucking doctors just because people go there when they're sick.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Rage has been going to the doctors and they don't seem to be able to do anything for it. I've switched up my diet and try to exercise, but goddamn, it just kicks my ass so bad that it's hard to do.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And it's frustrating to feel that way because that's how I'm doing right now. Is I'm still getting out of breath very easily, and it's incredibly frustrating when a month or 6 months or a year ago, John, for you could do something very easily, like walk up the stairs and then walk back down and do something else. And now it's like I walk up the stairs and I have to sit down and rest. And then you walk down the stairs and you have to sit down and rest. And you get frustrated with yourself because you feel like you should be able to complete the task without resting.
Oh, I could run miles before this all happened. And fuck, I'm lucky if I can walk up the street now.
I worked with people who had brain injuries for about 20 years or so. And one of the big issues that they had to do, because, people with brain injuries, they were just like you and me, basically everyone, before they got the injury from either a motorcycle accident or falling down the stairs, for an example. But there's really this mourning process. There is this kind of process that they have to mourn the person who they no longer are, and I don't want to bring the party down that much, but there is a process about, who you are and who you are now. And it's a tough slog. That's what it is.
Well, I really don't have the breathing issues. I am a smoker. But I can swim, and which I'm going to be doing on Christmas. But when I'm done, it's like my body just feels like I just ran a marathon. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. We just, the girlfriend and I just got lucky because you said that you got it in March. We were March of this year. Of 2020. Of 2020.
2020.
We were drinking at a pub on St. Patrick's Day, and it was jammed. It was jammed full of people, and we just got lucky that we didn't get it.
Well, one of the things we lived in El Paso at that time, and one of the Phoenix's friends worked for the military base out there, and so she was dealing with people from all over the world. And Desi got sick first, and she was over there helping us actually pack up to move to Austin. And I got sick at that time. Very, very little, just kind of a snotty nose, a runny nose and stuff. But the tired happened instantly.
Oh, really?
The grandson had a runny nose, snotty, you know. Nick was sick as shit. And Phoenix didn't have it till we was actually in Austin. And I thought it was bronchitis, but
sure.
I was still so fucking worried about her because she was so ill that I stayed by her bed day and night.
Yeah.
You know, feeding her, you know, just home remedies of hot toddies, lemonade, and diet, you know, lots of fruits and vegetables. She came out of it. None of the kids have any of the long-term stuff, but it's just anybody who denies this shit is fucked in the head.
I think that's what you get when you have politicized religiosity in this country, right? There's just this divorce from reality where you have Republican and MAGA people, you know, the televangelists, the megachurch folks, and even the folks in the small parishes just telling folks that, you know, your vaccination is the blood of Jesus Christ.
Oh, fuck.
Can we just talk about what a creepy sentence that is for a second?
Please go ahead.
Like this, I cannot stand it. And I grew up Catholic, so I don't ever remember hearing any of that stuff when I was quote unquote religious. Like, I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. Okay, Carrie. Like, that's creepy.
Fuck.
That's what it makes me think of is the movie Carrie. Is they're covered in the blood.
Oh, definitely.
It's a creepy sentence. And the cannibalism, it's
The cannibalism.
I can't. Well, I grew up Catholic, so we were, you know, the blood and the body of Christ. Yeah. So, like it's just creepy.
It is creepy. Yeah, you know, when you grow up in it and you say the words, you have to take it. You have to learn that it's creepy.
But I'm not a zombie.
I remember very young remembering, like, thinking, like, this is a weird thing to say, because we didn't go to church regularly until, and this is going to sound hilarious, but typical kid, I saw my cousins have their first communion. I was like, oh, I want a party and money, because I was 8. So that's when we really started going to church. So it was kind of shell shock for me. And I was like, this is kind of weird. This is kind of creepy.
I remember.
And I never really bought in 100%.
Well, my girlfriend never did either. I was a true believer, but my girlfriend, her parents tried to, you know, indoctrinate her into Catholicism. And she's like, no, this does not make any sense whatsoever.
I don't. My only bout with religion was when I got busted, and it was just to play the courts, to play the judges, to play the POs, you know. And I acted proper. I beat the system. Started out with 13 felonies. I ended up. I did pay $5,000 in fines. I had 300 hours community service, but I only did 5 days in jail.
That's pretty good, John, considering you had 13 felonies under your belt.
13 felonies.
See, Jesus really does save.
Worked. Yeah, I got something out of religion, you know, even though I just played the system.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. Under those circumstances, it makes perfect sense to say that you're down with Jesus, so that you don't spend a long time in jail.
Well, 13 felonies. Let's see, 7 years per felony. What's that? 91 years. Life sentence.
Yeah, yeah. You would be communicating with us through even through the prison internet, which doesn't exist, I'm sure, right?
No.
But that brings up an interesting point, though, too, John, because the religiosity is through so many other parts of the system, like AA and NA, which a lot of people are like required to do as part of probation.
Oh yeah.
And they all like to say that they're not. They like to pretend that they're not only one belief system, but they do require the people in them to give themselves up to some sort of spirituality, which,
well,
if you look at the science, doesn't actually help. You need to actually take responsibility if you have an addiction, and make the effort, not leave it in an imaginary friend's hands.
Well, as far as the community service went, I had to sell fireworks for the Sobriety Corporation. When we didn't have people up front, we were drinking beer in back.
So let me understand this. Part of the community service was selling fireworks, and the proceeds went to the Sobriety Foundation.
Corporation, yeah.
Corporation. Oh, okay.
And another one I did, which actually wrote off all the hours on my community service, is I was a member of the Eagles Club. And we decided we was going to do a new kitchen for them. And I went to a bunch of different vendors. I got everything donated. A couple of the guys helped me put it all together. We get done doing the kitchen cabinets, and we realized, fuck, we don't have countertops. So I took my own money, bought the countertops, and they wrote off like 200 hours.
Okay.
So the community service, all in all, I probably did 40 hours of the 300 hours I was sentenced to.
Oh, you paid. You paid one way or the other. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They got their pound of flesh.
Oh yeah, and their countertop too.
They were nice. The Eagles was a fun organization, and I really loved it. Except the first rule of being an Eagle is, if you can't speak nicely of your brother Eagle, don't speak of him at all. And then I just hear people trash talking each other. And I'm like, fuck this shit. I can't be part of this,
If there's a rule like that, then there should be some kind of enforcement of the rule, right? At least something, like pull someone aside and saying, hey, you shouldn't be running your mouth about this guy or this person.
Well, we did some great things, like did a Cinco de Mayo Mexican fiesta dinner, which I put together for that. And we raised $3,500 for St. Jude's Children's Hospitals. And we've done a lot of good stuff, but I just don't like people talking shit on other people,
Yeah.
If you got something to say it to their fucking face. You know what I mean? Don't shit talking behind their back.
Right. No, I'm in total agreement with you, John. Yeah. People do like talking about each other. It seems like a pastime. It seems like something everyone can do.
Well, one of my favorite sports is people watching, and we'll go downtown Austin, which is fucking fabulous for people watching. And, but I'm with the kids, and we play this game called Caption This.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I like that. That's a good game. I like that game.
It is funny. And Nick, oh my God, he's a wordsmith. Oh my God, some of the things he says, my shit's pretty stupid, but Nick's is witty and funny. Mine's rude.
I just want to let everyone know that I did bring my yellow card and my red card, for those of you soccer fans out there, or football fans. So, and in case things get dicey on the channel, yellow card, warning, red card, expulsion. There you go. See? And maybe we should all carry these in our personal lives. Now, mind you, here in the States, you might have to explain to people what a yellow card and a red card is. However,
In the States, you'd probably be better off throwing a flag.
Oh, right. You're throwing the flag down. I like that. I like that, John Hudson. I like that.
The rest of the world will understand the card thing, but in America, I'm thinking we throw the flag.
I do like the flag. It's more dramatic.
Well, then in Canada, you probably have to have a whistle because hockey.
Yeah.
I grew up playing ice hockey, so.
Nice.
Yes. That whistle.
My friend Kristen, she played hockey for Brown University.
Oh, Brown, great school.
Yeah, she's now a doctor at Shriners Hospital. Really sharp lady, fucking brilliant, beautiful too. The best I could get out of her was a friendship, but I'll take what I can get.
I do have a whistle. That is true. A whistle came with a set.
Oh, but John, if you like people watching, have you ever been to a flea market and just sat there and watched the people at the flea market?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because I in high school I worked at one of the stands at my local flea market. Like one of my neighbors ran one of the stands, and I would help her as a teenager on the weekends, and I learned how to people watch there. All kinds of people.
An estate sale, fucking watching the vampires go through fucking old people's shit. It just like, that's one of the reasons I got rid of everything, because it's like, if my daughter had an estate sale with my shit and I saw the way people fucking disrespect rummaging through fucking crap and fighting over things, I would fucking haunt them.
Oh yeah, some of the little old ladies that I've seen at estate sales are like hyenas over the shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially like a good brooch.
Blood over a brooch.
It's a cameo.
There is a large flea market down in Raynham, Massachusetts, the Raynham Flea, and I would bring the kids down there when they were smaller, and but still, like tweens, maybe early teens, and they'd have some money in their pocket, and I said, well, the first thing you do is that you have to understand that everything's haggling at a flea market, and that you never pay full price. So you ask a person what the price is, you ask a vendor what the price is, and then you start talking to them after that. And 90% of the time you'll get it for lower than the price that is actually on the listed price. And they both did pretty well about being able to haggle people,
Oh yeah. When I worked at two different booths. The one was the neighbor and the other one was somebody else when that neighbor closed shop. So I worked at one that sold handmade jewelry and another one that sold weapons, like katanas and swords and butterfly knives, brass knuckles, that kind of shit. And whoever was running the stand would always be like, starting price is X, bottom price is the X. So it'd be like, maybe a katana. They'd be like, okay, starting price is $80. Yeah. Lowest we'll go is 50 if they're nice, if they're considerate, if they're an asshole, start them at 100.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you raise a good point, Jesse, is that being nice does pay dividends. It does pay off. If you just start talking to a vendor and just do the hard sell immediately, I don't know, you probably aren't going to get a good deal. But if you're nice, if you engage in conversation, and then you say, well, something like, well, I have this much in cash on me right now, and this is what I can do, then maybe you'll get a good price that way.
Well, if I was selling things like the knives and katanas and stuff, I think I would base the prices on what they're wearing. They're wearing a thin blue line shirt. You're going to be able to rape them for fucking that much more money. So
language.
Well, take them.
See how useful this is?
Very, very, very good tool, Andy.
Yeah, but
thank you.
Well, that is a good point, John. Like we had the one where I was working at, we had a lot of people that would come as tourists from New York City. So you could tell if somebody was like, oh, Mr. Hotshot New York with all the bling bling, and it's like, I ain't haggling with you. You got cash, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Like, this isn't going to hurt you. But if I see somebody that I know that lives in the area that, is, working 2 part-time jobs, like, yeah, I'm going to give you a deal because I know you're actually working hard for your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Good deal.
This is a good story from Simply Secular Dave. I haggle for everything I buy. I bought my ex a jacket and asked for a better deal than on the price, and the clerk gave me an employee discount. Job well done, Simply Secular Dave.
For your information, Home Depot, each one of the associates is allowed to give a discount.
Oh, really?
So before you pay full price for a large item, ask them about it.
Sweet deal. See, you learn all kinds of things coming on this show, everybody. All kinds of things.
Yeah, I worked at the Home Depot. It lasted about 2 weeks after when we moved
And
into
how many felonies? 2 weeks and how many felonies?
Well, it was. I just poked it with a piece of fucking steel pipe. Was all. There was 3 of them in my defense.
So let me see if I understand this. You poked someone with a steel pipe?
I worked in the fucking plumbing department, and there was 3 Hispanic. I wouldn't call them gentlemen. There was 3 Hispanic males, and they fucking wanted to plumb something that didn't exist. And so I'm trying to fit pieces together, and the one starts fucking coming off with his slang, And I just dealt with this senior that I'd spent 45 minutes with him, and he decided he didn't need what he wanted. Anyhow, the whole day was shitting on me. And he started his
he was running his mouth. He
blah, blah.
Talking.
Yeah. So I poked him in the ribs with a piece of iron pipe.
Who would have thought?
They fired me. They fired me.
They fired you for assaulting? Oh, assaulting's a strong word. I know.
I was correcting him.
You were correcting him, right?
He was showing some bad behavior, and I just, you could do it to the wrong person, and it could have ended up a lot worse.
Well, that really isn't something you want to say to HR, because that implies that something worse could happen in the future.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'm going to change the subject for a hot second. I'm going to attempt to turn my camera on. I hope I don't freeze.
Okay.
I want to show you guys my current knitting project. Hope we can. Look at
the noodliness.
Focus.
Wow. The great spaghetti monster, right? The flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Now,
sorry, I'm using my phone, so excuse my
it's a good picture.
Angle.
I think it's a good picture. I mean, from here, from what I can see. So how long is that taking you to do, Jesse?
I'm gonna turn off my camera real quick, so I'm not laying at a weird angle. I started that last night at 7 o'clock, and I went to bed at 2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Got a little hyper focused.
I understand.
My brother asked for one because I was like, oh, I'm making everybody little stuffies for Christmas. What do you want? And he goes, make me a flying spaghetti monster. And I was like, I shall. And I got very excited.
Oh, good.
Could you make that into a hat?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just would be a matter of putting it on to a hat. I have hats. I could actually, here, I'll be brave and show my face. Like, I made this hat.
Oh, that's a nice hat.
So cool.
Nice colors. Sweet.
I make all kinds of fun stuff.
Love it. I had an aunt that crocheted, and then every year we'd get these. What's that? Absolutely.
Please be my grandpa. Yeah.
You're adopted.
Very nice.
But see, I can't crochet to save my life. I know how to knit.
I don't know what the difference is.
Knitting is
Two
two
needles.
straight needles. Well, they're straight, they're pointed, but they're blunted so you don't, accidentally hurt yourself too easily. And then crocheting, you use one hook, and you actually have to create all of the loops independently, and they don't stay on the hook. Whereas knitting needles, the knitting stays on stationary on one needle, and you go back and forth creating your fabric.
Is knitting easier than crocheting?
Whatever you learn first is easier.
I understand. That makes sense.
Well, my one sister has a loom that she like makes scarves, ponchos, rugs, and stuff. And it's pretty interesting too. But it's a big goddamn thing that she uses to do that.
Oh, that's more like weaving, I would assume.
Weaving, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I know how to do that, but I do not have the space, the time, or the energy to do it.
Yeah.
I have tiny humans, so I've been doing a lot of mittens, hats, little tiny stuffies like the flying spaghetti monster, stuff like that mostly.
The girlfriend says, when I went to go buy a car, they asked how I was going to pay, and I said cash, and the salesperson said, how did you get that kind of money? I hope I did that in the proper disdainful way that the salesperson said to you, the girlfriend. I remember the incident, you telling me that. Yeah, a little bit of misogyny right there from the salesperson.
Last truck I bought, brand new, I would go into the dealerships in my grungy work clothes and in my dirty old work truck. I had other vehicles, but just like the, salesman would not come up and even fucking talk to me.
No.
Finally, one gal come up and I'm like, I want to drive that Power Stroke.
Yeah.
And she goes, can we run your credit? I'm like, no, I want to fucking drive the truck to see if I want to buy it first.
Yeah.
And she took me, we got in and went for a test drive. And I'm like, yeah, this is the one I want. And she's like, well, let's go run your credit, I'm like, you don't need to run my credit. I'm buying this right now,
Yeah.
And,
They always look to like, you're crazy. I bought my current vehicle with cash as well. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah. Don't like debt.
Yeah.
If I can't pick cash for it, I don't need it. And it allowed me to retire at 57.
Yeah, that's good. I did my annual budget. I smoked 3,000 joints last year. That's a good budget.
Fucking A.
Yes, there is a conversation. There is a discussion about whether or not you tell the salesperson that you're going to pay in cash, or when you do. I from what I understand, you're supposed to tell them at the very end of the negotiating process.
That's what I did when I got my my current vehicle. I waited until the very end, and they were, because I was like, oh, I don't think I can do that. Because you got to play the stupid game. Just
Right.
Nothing can ever just have a freaking price on it when it's the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end they were like, oh well, okay, let's run your credit. I'm like, nah, I got a check right here. It's all good.
Right. That's good. One of the few ASL signs I know. That's from Blue's Clues, by the way, I believe. Smart.
Did you see that? Sorry, hate to jump on that, but did you see that the Steve from Blue's Clues has been making like little PSAs and stuff for the now adults that used to watch when he was on?
I saw
It's worth a gander.
I saw the first one that he came out about being how proud he is of, his team, basically, or the people who are watching, about how far he's gone, how far they've gone. And I thought it was really sweet, to tell you the truth. I thought it was really sweet.
It was.
I loved that. I'm a little too old for Blue's Clues, even though I'm like the baby on here. But my younger siblings were very, very into Blue's Clues. And I remember one of my siblings actually cried when Steve had to go to college, and they were very, very upset that Steve had to leave. And it was this like thing that I still remember it. I was like maybe 10 or 12. and it was a big deal in their little tiny, pre-K life. And
Right?
when they saw the video, they were very touched. Like, oh, he's my buddy.
I was upset when Steve left, and I was the parent watching it with the kids. I was upset when Steve left. I'm like, what? Well, what do you mean you're leaving? That's not allowed. That's not
Well,
right.
I would do anything, watch any of them just to where I didn't have to watch Barney.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Dora's pretty obnoxious as well.
I love Teletubbies just because of the tubby pudding.
Oh God.
The tubby pudding was this machine, and when it emitted the pudding, it would make fart sounds.
Yes.
It was
Yes, that was another. My sibling was young enough for that too. I remember I liked that one. If you want to feel like you're high, and I would assume that's what it's like. I've never done psychedelics, but I would assume is Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, Yo Gabba Gabba.
Is that the Ramones?
It's a children's. It's like Nick Jr. and I've asked people that have done psychedelics, and they're like, "Yeah, that's an acid trip."
I guess I'll have to check that out because I could tell you if it is or not.
The guy is dressed in a orange jumpsuit with big, thick, like BCG style glasses, and a giant furry orange hat. And there's these little plastic toys that come to life, and then they sing songs about eating healthy food and brushing your teeth, but the colors are swirling, and it's very strange.
Yo Gabba Gabba is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting content.
Speaking of the jumpsuit, anybody see Wild Wild Country on Netflix? It's about the Bhagwan or Anish and takeover of a town in Oregon. It's cult. It was a cult back in the 80s, and I actually had some friends that actually went up there to see the Bhagwan back in the early 80s, and they came back weird as fuck.
What was the name of the cult, dude?
What it was, I can't remember. They called him Osho. It was the Bhagwan Ranish. He was
Is that the yoga guru, dude?
Yeah, Hindu spiritualist or whatever.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't see that what you're talking about, but I saw another like documentary on that. It was like turned into like a sex cult, if I remember correctly. He was like sleeping with everyone.
Every single cult headed by a dude ends up as a sex cult. Is that wrong? I mean, is that incorrect?
You're absolutely correct.
That way?
Well, it's one of two ways with a sex cult. It's either a purity sex cult or I get to sleep with everyone sex cult. There's two different kinds of sex cults.
Yeah.
Well, I've been delving into a whole bunch of different programs on cults and stuff, and just because I was raised around a cult, growing up in Utah.
Oh yeah. You got the Mormons there. Once you look into their belief system, it's just as messed up. If to us, it seems even weirder because we didn't grow up in it. But it's a Christian fan fiction gone to the nth degree.
Well,
I think the craziest one cults are my thing is Christian Scientists. I think is what it's called.
Yeah. There's they're
pretty kooky.
Is that the Scientology?
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's not Scientology. It's different. Christian Scientists.
Mary Baker Eddy founded the Christian Science. Her grave site is within the area, within the Greater Boston area, close by actually. It's over in Mount Auburn Cemetery, and the Mother Church, which is free to tour, huge building. Is right on Mass Ave in Boston, and it is a beautiful building, but they don't believe in any medicine whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Don't they also believe you can like bring people back from the dead if you pray over them enough?
Maybe.
I want to say I saw an article and they also don't do any prenatal care. The article I saw was about a woman in that cult that gave birth to extremely premature twins, and one of them died, and they had this poor infant's body in the house for a very, very long time, trying to bring it back to life.
Yep.
And they ended up getting arrested for like mishandling of a corpse or something along those lines. Very, very sad.
Yeah, I was driving by one of the Christian Science reading rooms, and I was stuck in traffic. So I could look at what they had on, the windows to the Christian Science reading room, and on it, and I can't remember it word for word, but it was something along the lines like, all the medical answers you need are in the Bible. And I'm going, where's my card? Red card, you're throwing out. You're thrown out of the game. That's medical misinformation, my friends. Yeah.
Oh, that made me laugh. I'm going to have to jump out. I have to go to my doctor's appointment. So I'll see you guys later.
Good
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry holidays, whatever it is.
Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa holidays.
That's right. Well said. Blazing says in Denmark's house loans at the moment have negative interest. They're paying me to have a mortgage in Denmark. I guess there's a link there to support his assertion. There you go.
Wow.
So they are paying. I doubt that they allow non-residents, non-citizens to buy a house in Denmark to get some of that sweet deal.
What I don't like is the way all these corporations and shit are buying up the houses here in America. I don't think they should get the tax benefit. I think if actually there should be a penalty for them to make such investments.
Well, wow, there's a lot to unpack there. Zillow, if anyone has been following this, because there's a lot of stories that I follow that I just don't have time to cover. But Zillow, the online, real estate company, they bought a bunch of houses thinking that they could flip them, and they just got screwed. They just got screwed
nice
because it was a story that came out a couple weeks ago, maybe months ago at this point. But they're like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that because we're stupid. Maybe we got hosed and we bought too much. We spent too much money on the houses, and now we're in the trouble bubble, financially speaking. So
at that point, I'd like to see them just go fucking bankrupt and them houses go back on the market.
Yep. But this is the thing with financial crises, right? And this is historically speaking the rule and not the exception. When middle income people or less affluent people lose their houses, right, or lose their businesses, oftentimes it is the people who have the money who swoop in and grab those assets, whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
Houses, real estate at a cheap price. Interesting. Is this another story about Roman history? Yes, this is another story about Roman history. During the late parts of the Republic, a lot of the farmers, the men who were farming were stuck in the legions. And so while they were fighting, let's say the Carthaginians, they couldn't pay off their farms. And so wealthy senators just snatched them up at a bargain price. Yes, you can see how things did not work out well for the Roman Republic. What's up, bigzebra.com?
Hey, Z.
Glad to see that you're around.
Well, back in the 80s, after the SNL shit that went down, the savings and loan, a lot of homes went into foreclosures back in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
I was selling real estate at that time. So there was a shitload of HUD homes. And me and my broker did an ad verbatim, same. The only thing different was he was Dirk Pearson, I'm John Hudson. And we're advertising HUD homes.
Yeah.
I got twice as many calls as he did.
Yeah.
Because I'm people thinking, oh, they're HUD homes. This is John Hudson. They got to be his,
Yeah,
but it was an awesome time because it was $500 down. If you didn't have credit, that was considered good credit. You did not have to have a a score of 560 or 620 or whatever the fuck it is nowadays. And I was able to put a crap load of people into homes, and it paid a 6% commission. You didn't have a brokerage side and a seller's agency side. So I was able to take and put the 3% back into the net for HUD, and we won a lot of bids. It was a great feeling. I was able to take people that weren't able to get a home now, but back then, the only problem was there was a 10, 11, 12% interest rates.
Well, yeah, back then it was, the real people can't really conceive of what kind of interest rate difference there is today as comparison to what it was like back then.
Well, it came back as a win for me again, because when the streamlined mortgages came out, at a lower rate, I could take the same clientele and make a 3% off them again with the loan of put them into a lower rate. Saved them money, and I made money again just by researching the old database of homes that we had sold.
I was there. Once again, there are a lot of stories I keep up with that I just don't share on the main show because there's just so many other good stories to cover. And one of them is actually the Chinese real estate market, because they have a crazy way. Cities have, towns, municipalities, and mainland China have a crazy way of funding projects. And it's not officially on the books of the towns, of the cities, and the municipalities. And it's a crazy little system. And so I think it's called LS. So I watched a video last night about it. There was an article in The Economist I was reading about it. So I feel it's important enough for me to mention on this show, because there's a chance of contagion within the Chinese economic system. So if it's like a dominoes, right? So if the debt, there is an issue with the real estate market there, and we know what happens when real estate markets implode. The whole system, the whole economic system can be shaken. So that's one of the stories I've been keeping an eye on.
Well, the housing bubble in 2008, when it collapsed, I got fucking hosed.
Wow.
First of all, I just went through a divorce, and so she got half the equity that was there. Then the equity was gone, and I was doing a big multi-unit, doing all the framing, and that developer went belly up.
Sure.
I lost about $400,000 there. I just feel like fuck. Good has happened to me, just to not be in debt anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Steve Hill, who's a comedian, a member of, I don't think he's a member of the Satanic Temple anymore, but he still counts himself as a Satanist. He was a property, what do you call the person who goes around assessing? He was a property assessor back.
Appraiser or assessor?
Appraiser. He was an appraiser. Thank you. And he still is an appraiser, actually. He's out in California. Great guy. If you ever see Steve Hill, he is hilarious. He's been on this channel a couple of times. But he was talking about back during the housing crisis, back 2007, 2008. Of course, it was black and brown skinned people who had been targeted with these crappy loans.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible loans. And they were specifically targeted by bankers, by mortgage sellers, and they were the ones that, of course, that were hardest hit, because this is the United States and America, and this is, there is predatory capitalism across classes, but there's predatory capitalism that focuses on race, and that targets people who are black and brown skinned too. It was horrible.
Well, even back in the 80s, when redlining was unlawful, but there was still a whole bunch of agents that were steering people into neighborhoods. And, I remember talking to one of the other agents, and he's like, oh, well, there's no black people that live in that neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
So take them to, it was.
People don't understand what redlining is and how it still affects communities today. because when you have, and redlining is basically saying when hey, Dr. Tomfoolery's here. Dr. Tomfoolery, you're up. You're awake. We're about to start ranting about redlining, but I'm glad that you're here. How you doing, brother?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I want to hear this rant, Andy.
Okay, so the even though redlining is not officially, so let's talk about redlining. So what real estate agents would literally do red lines around certain communities and say, we're not selling to black people within these communities. We're not selling to brown skinned people in these communities. And those kind of ghettoization, because that's what it is, ghettoization of communities, it affected things like, where are we going to put highways? Where are we going to put highways? Right? Where are we going to put infrastructure? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are property values going to be tanking for decades afterwards? So even though officially redlining doesn't exist, the balkanization of American communities, it is still, the effects of redlining is still with us.
Oh, absolutely. I saw it in Salt Lake. It's fucking in Austin. They're trying to do something about it, 35 years after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also what people don't understand is that the subdivisions, right, the suburban real estate boom after the war, after World War II, a lot of these properties had a restrictive covenant in the contract of when someone bought them. It's like, you cannot sell this to black skinned people or brown skinned people.
Yeah, and the CCR's covenant conditions and restrictions.
Right.
And it's still to this day, it's against the law, but it happens every fucking day.
Well, and when you think about the middle class, where is most, okay, so where is most of the middle class's money in? It isn't in stocks and bonds, it's in their houses. The way that you have, the way how you transfer intergenerational wealth in this country is via real estate. So if you are black or brown skin, having all of these factors against you means that you are just not going to have wealth to pass down to your children.
I already passed it down to my kids.
Right. I mean, and that's great and everything. But once again, when you look at why the average, I heard this on NPR a couple of weeks ago about how much the average white person has in terms of assets here in the Boston area, as against to the average assets that the average black person has in the Boston area. It is like a factor of 10 at the very least. That's the difference. And that is an example of intergenerational wealth happening for white people and not happening for black and brown skinned people.
Well, buying this property, there was a cloud on the title.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it had went through probate. Part of the property was sold to another entity. Then the house come up for auction. The kids came in and bought it at $340,000. And then was able to cure the cloud on the title by securing the land that's next door. And the property where they're into 360. Dad put a fucking great down payment on it for him. This is over $1 million property now.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, the kids got an extra $600,000 inheritance.
And that, what, okay, I cannot even go on about this. I cannot even talk about reverse mortgages or the screwing of the middle class. I'm not even gonna get into that. Dr. Tomfoolery, you just popped in. I'm gonna have to close down the show because we're heading into an hour. Dr. Tomfoolery, you want to put in the last word?
Well, in St. Paul here, the Rando neighborhood, which is a traditional black neighborhood, is going through that of trying to heal, because that was the neighborhood that they selected to put Highway 94 through. And there have been discussions of how to fix historical wrongs there. So yeah.
I'd be interested to hear how that progresses. I'd be interested.
Well, this last year, I heard a new thing, gentrification. I'm like asking the kids, what the fuck is that? And they explained it to me, and it's put a fucking Starbucks anywhere, values go up.
Oh yeah, well that's interesting. All right, I'm gonna have to close out the show, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. We're gonna do the same crazy thing tomorrow. Is tomorrow like Christmas Eve day? Yes. Are we still doing the show tomorrow? Yes. I hope you all have a safe day and evening, and hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone, and thanks.
Shamala hamala.
Shamala hamala. Here we go.